Good work.
On to the next motion. Mr. Motz, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chair. We circulated a motion here a couple days ago with respect. I have too much sugar in my system. With respect to the documents that we've been trying to get at as a committee. And this particular motion addresses, it's very similar to the one we had back in May. It took some of the concerns that were related by some committee members with respect to that and invited the law clerks to be part of it. And again, this is, we have some timelines on it, as you'll see in the motion. And, you know, we've heard from a number of witnesses repeatedly, and as well as the Commissioner Rouleau, as well as the lawyers there, that it's unfortunate that we are somewhat operating in a vacuum without some of these documents, and so we need to pursue getting those documents to this committee, and then in turn giving those documents to the Public Order Commission as well.
Thanks very much, Chair. I will not support this motion as drafted. I think it is somewhat convoluted in process and enjoins our law clerks to undertake work that is not their area of specialization. With respect to the sense that this would provide information to the Rouleau Commission that it was unable to secure, I would simply like to put on the record the words of Commissioner Rouleau of November 25th, page 261 of the transcripts, line 18 to 25, where he says, quote, "Most importantly, I am satisfied that I now have the evidence that I need to make the factual findings and to ask the questions I've been mandated to ask. Namely, why did the federal government declare the emergency? How did it use its powers? Were those actions appropriate? These are questions that, as I said at the outset, the public wants answered, and I am confident that I am now well positioned to provide those answers." I think we should pay attention to Justice Rouleau.
I think what we heard through the commission, more than Justice Rouleau's final comments, he had factual findings. What he had, he feels that he can make a decision, but he's still making it in a vacuum, quite honestly. And his own lawyer has indicated the unfortunate reality that the government is withholding this information. The Canadians, this is about transparency to the public. And the public needs to have some sense of what the government relied upon. This committee needs to have some sense that the government relied upon, as well as the commissioner. And so this is an attempt by this committee to do what we were asked to do, and that's to look at all the information that the government relied upon to invoke the Emergencies Act.
So I have a sort of a preliminary question, which is just that what I have from Mr. Motz was something that was circulated on November 30th, which is about a 5-page motion. And then I've got something that was circulated by Mr. Motz on December the 6th, which in some respects there's some overlap, but I'm just a bit concerned which motion exactly are we discussing right now as between those two motions?
The motion from November 29 has been is not pursued, has been tabled because we weren't able to that particular day, and so this is the motion of December 6th that stands.
So we're now talking about the motion from December 6th. Okay, so then my next question would be with respect to the motion from December 6th. I'm not actually clear that this committee, or any parliamentary committee for that matter, has the authority or the ability to direct material to be brought to the attention of a quasi-judicial inquiry being headed by Justice Rouleau, or any other inquiry for that matter. And there's 2 occasions on which this document, as proposed, suggests doing exactly that. So perhaps the clerk could clarify us on that issue?
Not sure when you're asking the clerk to clarify, are you asking the clerk to make a legal opinion on your opinion?
But just is this within scope for a parliamentary committee to order something to be brought to the attention of a judicial inquiry that's already concluded its evidence gathering? I know what a judge can ask for, but if they're not asking for something, can we forcibly send something to judicial inquiry? Do you know of any precedent in that regard, Madam Clerk?
I think he's suggesting to send it, though. I'm not sure that it's a fair question to put to the clerk. We are the masters of our own domain within this committee and have the ability through voting to determine what we want to do with information that we receive. And it'll be up to the quasi-judicial inquiry to accept it or not.
Well, perhaps the law clerk we've got one of the law. You're
This is
not
the Senate clerk.
the Senate law clerk, yes? No. Well, I do think it's kind of salient to the analysis, Mr. Chair, in terms of trying to make a determination as to how we'd be minded to vote on this matter. It's asking the committee to do potentially something that's beyond our jurisdiction to do so. The Joint Clerk shall be directed to bring the order to the attention of the Public Order Emergency Commission. That's sub K, and sub G says documents to be provided to the Public Order Emergency Commission forthwith upon receipt.
Okay, I appreciate you sharing your perspective. Are there any other perspectives on the motion? Yes, Senator?
Mr. Chair, while I appreciate the thrust of it, I am concerned in terms of the role that we're asking the law clerks to play. I'm not sure that's the role they play. And so because of that, and I've been upfront with this in my concern on this and the previous motion, and for that reason, I wouldn't be able to support it.
So if I may, Chair. Sorry. Am I next on that?
I recognize Mr. Motz.
Well, thank you, Chair. Are you proposing then, Senator Boniface, that the law clerks be completely removed from this and those documents be asked to come to this committee? Is that what you're asking?
No, I'm just speaking strictly to this. I share the concern that Mr. Brani raised because I asked the same question around the Senate, the reference to the Senate in here, and so I'm wondering whether this is something that. So I guess I'm not proposing anything. I'm just putting my position on the table.
The motion? Ms. Bendayan?
I believe this comes from the Green Book, but I'm double checking to get a page number. But just in terms of the discussion, Mr. Chair, that you were having with my colleague, Mr. Vrani, it does state specifically that a committee has no power to send documents to a court or other body, only the power to send for documents. And so I just wanted to provide that information to colleagues. Yes, I am.
I'll take you at your word. I have
I'm
no
looking
reason
for
to
the
doubt
reference.
that you're not citing appropriate protocol. We have a motion that's been duly put. Do we want to call the question? Okay, let's do that. We'll call the question. So the motion as put, and we'll allow the,
Before we get there, Chair, if I could ask a question?
is it a procedural one?
I'm just looking for consensus. Is there any consensus that we want these documents? Want any documents? Is that, if we have to
Mr. Chair, I
adjust
believe
wording?
you called the vote.
I did call the vote procedurally. There was an opportunity, an ample opportunity for intervention. I did call the vote. We will now proceed with the vote.
Honourable Senator Boniface,
No.
Honourable Senator Carignan, Honourable Senator Harder, PC,
No.
No.
Ms. Dumberson,
No.
Mr. Varani,
No.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Motz, Monsieur Fortin,
Oui.
Mr. Green.
Je vote pour le motion.
Yay?
Yes. She didn't get my French?
Yeas pour 5, 5, nays contre 5, 5.
Procedurally, on a 5-5, the motion fails.